Welcome to the Failed Children podcast. If you're here, then you are a failed child.
What is up, my dudes? How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Are we really talking to each other? We've been talking to each other all day. Why are we pretending like we're introducing ourselves for the first time?
No, I just more like wanted to tell you that I'm doing good. 'Cause I don't know if you, I don't know if you knew.
Well, you are a failed daughter. I'm a failed son.
Absolutely. 100%.
We have just continued to let our parents and families down just over and over at every step of the way. And it's just kind of wanted to dedicate this podcast to what it's like just being a failed person in the world.
Yeah. We are consistently a drain on our parents' resources, even though we're 24 years old.
Drain on the government's resources, the taxpayers. We're a drain on just everyone.
Yeah. We are not like independent or self-sustaining in any way. Yeah. And we just kind of wanted to revel in that and talk about some goings on in the world from our perspective.
And I am Scooter.
And I'm Kiwi.
And this is our third guest, Henry. Henry is the biggest fail son of all.
Yeah.
He just continues to just suck up resources, fucking just destroy everything around him.
He pisses on the carpet and he fucks up our other cats.
And the neighbors have to bring him over like, hey, this fail son was just fucking around with my cat eating all his food. Piece of shit.
Yeah, for real. But he's just here being a good boy, and I took some really good pictures of him with my portrait mode on my new phone, so that's been fun. It's worth it.
Google Pixel.
Yeah, to have some
Actually, wait, no Google Pixel advertisement. Fuck Google.
Break up the tech companies.
Break up the tech companies. We need to break up Facebook, Google, Amazon. And as long as we do that, then the fail sons can have the resources come to them.
We'll get what's coming.
Get what's coming, yeah. We were thinking about it today, like, kind of sucks that you can't just have a house. Like, there's, like, we have to pay rent. We have to pay for power. We have to pay for all that shit. It sucks that you have to, like, no matter what happens in your life, you have to, like, pay for where you live.
We're also talking about, though, like, how you solve that problem. Like, how there's all these empty houses that just are owned by, like, you know, big real estate companies, or, you know, the banks or whatever, or just the government. Foreclosed homes. They're just empty and vacant, and like the housing market's not good enough where people are just like buying them.
Tell them the stat about foreclosed homes comparative to homeless people.
Oh yeah, there's many more vacant foreclosed homes than there are homeless people in the United States. But it's like, what do you do with that information? Like, will you just put the homeless people in the houses? Like,
you can't really just put homeless people on like foreclosed homes that are like $200,000 homes.
Do you imagine how pissed? Okay, do you imagine
a homeless person would be pissed if that happened? Like, wow, thanks, I had no bills to pay, and now I have to pay for power, water. You just fucked me, bro, by putting me in this house.
Well, no, I don't know if they would be, but do you imagine how pissed people would be who paid their entire mortgages? Who like,
I could have just got this shit for free.
Yeah, like
I just needed to do a little fentanyl and hang out on the street corner for a couple years, and then bada bing, bada boom.
Free house, yeah. Like, so I don't know, like the, you know, but like also I don't really care if it's like unfair, you know. People who are like, well, I paid a mortgage, but like putting a homeless person in an empty house, you know, doesn't like affect you in any way. If you paid off your mortgage, it isn't like
change what.
It doesn't like take away your house. You still have your house. They just also now have a house.
See, I actually don't agree with you on this one. I don't think that the answer is to just take homeless people and put them in empty homes that are vacant because they haven't been, the person previously living in them couldn't afford them. I think the answer is to just build new cheap housing, because a lot of those foreclosed homes are in areas that people really can't live. Like, we need concentrated low-income housing for very poor people in city centers. Like, it doesn't really do anything if you just have like homeless people moving into foreclosed homes. Like, congratulations, you live in Star, Idaho now.
Well, you're actually
you've won the homeless man lottery. Now you fucking go to Star to live in your foreclosed
I don't want to
mansion.
just like be that person, but you're also just like kind of wrong. Like a lot of a lot of these like vacant homes are not just homes. Also, like in New York City, a lot of big companies buy out huge apartment complexes to like make the cost of living go up in New York City.
God, we need to control that. I am all for saying, hey, everything is rent controlled. Now you can't make houses cost more than this amount.
Yeah, so like, but like, so there's a ton of empty apartments in New York City, like city center.
God, that shit sucks.
Yeah, so they can put them there, fine. If you have a problem with moving them out to Star, Idaho, where you also have to get them a car, like,
right, it
just
does
put them in New York City
to move them into foreclosed homes in just like random ass areas. I think that there should be things like motels.
We were talking about this. We were talking about like people that just like live in motels and hotels like permanently, because they don't have a credit score, or their like criminal record is so much that they cannot like that like apartments won't rent to them, and they have not amassed enough money to be able to buy a house or to get like a loan to buy a house. And I knew like a ton of people that would do this, like back when I was kind of like living in like Salt Lake or in Portland and was like doing a bunch of drugs and stuff.
No, you were not just doing drugs. You were being the ultimate fail son.
Yeah, sure. Anyway, point being, I had a lot of friends that would live in hotels and motels full time, like for years. They literally just lived in motels. And
that's so sick.
And Michael was asking me, he's like, well, how much does that cost? I was like, I don't know, like $1,800 a month.
I was thinking about it, like
he's like, that's really expensive, but like it's not for like,
it's sort of fun.
I don't know, it's weird. And there's not like a fridge. There's like a tiny mini fridge.
Yeah, but like
there's like an oven or a stove.
It's the same part of my brain that kind of like just wants to move to Japan and just live in an internet cafe. There are people in Japan, you may not know this, just the average regular person, but in Japan they have these things called internet cafes, where there are basically cubicles about enough room for a person to lie all the way down, and it has a computer and a chair. And that's all it is. But a lot of people in Japan, they're like, fuck it, I don't want to pay for a house, and they just go live in an internet cafe, and they just kind of have everything they need. They're like, well, I have shelter, and they go buy top ramen with whatever money they can scam off the internet or do other jobs in the internet. I guess I don't really know. And they just live in an internet cafe.
That's like kind of the same impulse that makes me want to like go live in like a hippie commune or move to just like a really random, like super random country and just like figure it out.
Just go off the grid in a hippie commune.
Mm-hmm. I've like looked into it very seriously. Like, what are the most established, best communes to live in, and what would I have to do to move there? Can you have a cell phone? Like,
well,
some of them were like, we do not watch television because we do not want that influence.
Oh.
And then some of them are like, oh yeah, you can like do whatever you want. You can even go into town or whatever. Like, we're just like self-sustaining. And
oh yeah, we farm, and then the other half of the time we're playing League of Legends competitively. We just like are tired of fucking going to work.
Yeah.
We farm for 4 hours in the morning, and then it's just League of Legends the rest of the day. That's your job here.
Yeah. Some are like really weird.
Let's think about it. What would you need exactly to start like a anarchist hippie commune? Like just a group of people living on a farm.
You need like a lot of land, and you need like an energy source.
How much land though?
Depends how many people you want, but you need like to be able to grow enough food to feed yourself, and you need to be able to like have an energy source so you wouldn't have to rely on the local government.
That's a little too far. I would be okay with relying on the local government for like a small amount of things. Like obviously you'd have to participate in local government by paying like taxes on the land or property taxes.
Yeah, you gotta pay property taxes. Yeah, that's like the one.
And I think you would want, instead of creating your own energy source, I think you'd want that. But then you'd get a farm going. Yeah,
a lot of them like have farms. They have like pigs, and you know.
I wouldn't want to do pigs.
A lot of them like grow their own pigs and like slaughter them.
We plant little piglets in the ground, and
then we
raise our pigs. No.
Okay, they grow pigs. Yeah, they raise pigs and they like have cows.
I'm against killing pigs and cows.
Okay, but they're like free range.
I think it's immoral. I think chickens are fine.
You just had like a McDonald's burger like tonight.
I'm fine with eating it. I just don't want me to do it. I don't want that on my conscience.
Okay, but like
if I pay for it, that's enough removed where I don't care.
But like the premise is like that they know that the pigs like lived good free range lives.
Just imagine being a pig, like nothing to fucking do except just walk around in this open land, and you're like, God damn, this fucking sucks. And then someone comes in with a shotgun, and you're like, oh, thank God, finally you're taking me off this fucking land. Just fucking make me into bacon. I don't give a shit. Just get me the fuck off this farm. I hate this place.
Yeah, I just said like the premise.
Like no friends. Like it's only the one pig. There's no one to fuck, no one to hang out with. I'm just walking around in the grass.
One pig. It was
several. We have one pig. That's all we can afford.
Several pigs.
He fucking hates it here.
But yeah, and then like so every night it's like basically like you kind of fend for yourself, and they have like a pantry or whatever, and you like fend for yourself with like food, and then they have like a kind of a meal together for dinner. But you make yourself like oatmeal in the morning.
So they grow their own oats?
Yeah, they grow their own. They have all these foods, and then they like have money.
You'd need startup money to get going.
Yeah, no, they run and they run a business.
We would need internet.
All of them do.
Oh, no, I'm talking about what do we need to do?
No. I'm telling you what's been successful in the past.
Fuck the past. I'm thinking about the future. That's like some Jay-Z shit. Fuck the past, man.
Once again, I'm being attacked for presenting new ideas. But all of them that are like basically successful is they also like have to basically concede that they're running a business. One of them, they like hand weave hammocks that they sell to the outside world. And one of them, they like hand make like peanut butter, like organic peanut butter they sell to the outside world.
I think selling weed would be tight.
Like a weed farm that's a commune?
No. Like I think we should just like find like someone to buy weed from here and just like start selling weed.
You just mean like just you and me right now?
Yeah, no, like just you and me right now. Like tell the people at school we're selling weed.
Yeah, I don't know about that one, Chief.
Dude, all the weed dealers in high school.
Yeah.
They would have like $50 spending money because selling weed is the worst idea ever. You make like no fucking money. You make enough money to continue smoking weed. That's all you.
Weed is like the Weed is like the one thing.
If you are a big stoner, it's a good idea to sell weed. That's
that's exactly what I'm saying. Weed is the one thing where every weed dealer I ever met in my life, they also smoked a ton of weed. So that's a terrible idea. Like unless you just want to get to smoke weed for free, like they would basically almost break even or not quite break even.
And they would work so hard.
And they worked they'd like just all the time. They were like selling weed, driving around to sell weed to people
everywhere. They would literally the second school got off. Well, most of them dropped out.
Yeah.
But they would drive around all fucking day. They'd mostly sleep in when everyone else is at school. They would wake up and they would just grind going to every single fucking house. Everyone's weed orders. Like yeah, can I get a 20 sec? Yeah, can I get a 20 sec? And they would drive all over my town.
Yeah, like use gas money to make $20. I'm like, and then you paid like they wouldn't even get that good of a deals. Like I would like hear how much they paid, and I'd be like, you paid that much like for an ounce, and then like I'm like, this is like the math is not really adding up. Like I don't think like, and they didn't have the wherewithal to like write it all down on like a sheet of paper and like
like
or like record record like how much they were smoking and like figure out.
They're smoking weed the whole time, just like driving around like terrible fucking.
They'd be like, I figure I'm breaking even. I'd be like, I don't know if you're breaking even, man.
Well, I see. I smoked about
a lot.
Shit.
Oh my god! And then some
How
of them,
much did you
and
make?
then some of them would get fronted, and then they have to like
do it on credit.
yeah, they do it on credit.
Give me a sack.
They'd be like, give me an ounce. I'll make this back for you, man. And the guy'd be like, okay, because like an ounce.
First off, if someone asks you to front them weed and you are a dealer, what's the answer you give? No, fucking of course no. Who is less reliable than a weed dealer?
Especially someone who's dealing with that.
There's no one less reliable than a weed dealer.
But I remember like I only knew like a bunch of like fail sons who were like smoking weed. I only knew like a bunch of like these like dumbass high school fail sons who were like dealing weed in like small amounts. And I remember like the first time that I like was living in Salt Lake and I met like a real like coke dealer or meth dealer.
Yeah, someone who's
And
like
then-
actually moving
yeah.
product and like.
Yeah, and then I'd be like, oh, so are we gonna do some coke? And he'd be like, I don't fucking do coke. I just
What
sell
are you, a
coke.
fucking idiot?
Yeah, he'd be like I just sell coke. I'd be like, I had like the gears in my head were like, wait, you sell coke and don't do coke? I was like, that's crazy.
It's like going to the Coca-Cola guy and being like, hey, when are we gonna drink some Coca-Cola?
He's like, wow, you drink this shit? You're crazy.
That's poison.
That's really bad for you, man.
You should fucking really think about it. You need some help? Like, you can come to me anytime.
Like you have to give me like an AA, like a flyer for my local AA meeting.
Coke dealers are just so classy.
Yeah,
Coke dealers will come to your house in like a business casual. Like a nice car.
Yeah.
They're very nice. Weed
Yeah.
dealers come over smelling like Little Caesars pizza and pot. They haven't washed their clothes in forever. They like stay too long. Like after the transaction's done, they like sit down at your house. They're just like, you're like, oh,
I guess we're friends now.
I guess you're staying here.
And like 2 years later, you're still friends on Facebook, and you're
There's a couple of those.
and you're like seeing their posts, and like all of a sudden they're like super like libertarian or something, and you're like how the fuck did this happen? You were like a hippie.
They're like posting about Andrew Yang now.
Yeah, you're like, wow, this is what a weird thing. You like, and Facebook is weird like that because people kind of get like real personal, and because they feel like it's just their friends.
Yeah.
But then like they add you even if they don't. You meet them like 3 times or something.
But they're willing to like open like all this personal information about
Yeah.
them. They'll like spill the beans about like how their dad left when they were a kid and it's been like really hard for them.
Yeah. Like
On Twitter,
really,
we're just like, fuck myself. I want to die.
please stomp on my face, like, you know. And
Let's
then
eat some ass. Twitter we don't give a fuck on Twitter.
yeah, but Facebook it's like everyone from high school and then also your family, and yeah, somehow I have like all these people that I like have known since I was 15.
You have to
And
use
now
like your
they're-
real name on Facebook.
Yeah.
They're like IDing you now.
Yeah.
Like you have to take a picture of your ID and use your real name. That's terrible.
Yep. But now I'm 24 and I can't get rid of these people that I've known for 10 years, and now they're getting like radicalized by like various politicians, and I'm just like, ugh. Maybe it's time for me to delete this app, man.
You did. You pulled the trigger.
Yeah, I was just getting too angry. Like even angrier. I go on Twitter and I get really mad, you know? Like if
If someone's being like really goddamn dumb.
yeah, you know, like, but it's more like people that I don't know, because it's just some like nameless, faceless anime avatar person on Twitter like saying something absurd.
Right. And after you can kind of like
I'm like, okay.
compartmentalize it and be like, okay, it's just a fucking random.
Yeah, it's just like some troll, like random guy who's just like trying to piss people off. But on Facebook, it's like somebody that I know, and I see them at like shows when my band, and then I'm like, oh, I've talked to you. Like I've seen you, like you told a joke that I laughed at, and
Right.
like you're kind of normal, and then like
You're
you
posting
said
about
this.
You're posting about how racism isn't real. Like what?
Yeah, I'm like, what?
Racism doesn't exist. Like
Yeah, I'm like, you're saying like you like saying the Me Too movement is actually sexist against men. Like I'm like, what? what? Ah!
you know, I've been thinking about this. The real problem in this society is that we just walk all over white men. White men are the real victims here.
They just aren't allowed to speak their goddamn mind, and that's the real problem.
I just like walk out the door in the morning fucking oppressed. Just like go to school, boom, oppressed.
Uh-huh.
It's like I can't get a fucking break in this world.
I know. It must be so hard. Tell me
I
about how
know.
hard it is.
I think being a white male caused me to be a fail son. I think that's really the
The learned helplessness of the millennial white male.
God, it's so ridiculous when gamer bros like try and pull the card that they're the real victim, because like
It is really ridiculous. Like when they talk about like how like when like a lead character in a video game is made to be like a woman or something, and a lot of
that's
people
my favorite. If I made a video game, it would be like all the characters would be trans and black and Native American and like Pakistani. It would be like I would only do it just to make the gamer bros angry. Wouldn't
I don't
even
know.
do it for like a representation.
That makes you kind of a bad person. I hope you know that. But that's
I don't care about being a bad
that's
person.
fine. That's okay. It's okay that at least you have the self-awareness.
Yeah, no.
But it is kind of interesting watching them kind of lose their minds over it and saying like, why do you even care about being represented? Like, it doesn't make any difference about, you know, being represented. And then you can like show them studies about like how actually like representation of like women and people of color in movies literally affects like people choosing to go in those fields. Like how Scully in the X-Files, there was like a bunch of women who were interviewed. There's like a huge increase in women choosing to be like detectives and FBI agents after that show came out, and they were interviewed and they said, oh yeah, it was the X-Files and her being in the X-Files that made me decide to do that. And like tons more studies and stuff, and they're like, well, they probably just made that up after the fact. Like they just can't even process it. And then them not being represented upsets them. So they can't even like flip it around and seeing that how not being represented could upset other people.
It's
like
so funny too, because they're the type of people that call everyone snowflakes every time they're offended about anything. But the second that like Captain Marvel is a woman, they lose their goddamn minds. Like maybe if you're so offended about Captain Marvel being a woman, are you the real snowflake?
Are we the baddie? Are we the snowflakes?
Oh no! Look, man wakes up at 6 a.m. screaming about Captain Marvel. Looks up into the mirror. His eyes catch his own. Am I the real snowflake?
And they're like, our boycott is gonna work. We're gonna boycott the movie, and it had like a $450 million opening weekend. Absurdly large opening weekend. Like that's just one of the best opening weekends, which I don't even give a shit about Marvel. I
don't
have not seen the movie
at all. Like I'm not going to watch the movie. I actually can't stand Marvel. I can't stand every single one of their movies.
I haven't seen a Marvel movie since what's it called? Doctor Strange. And that's a long time ago.
But that's fine. That's totally fine. These movies are for children and nerds.
If you like them, that's fine.
But you're either a child or a nerd.
Yeah, and that's okay.
It's fine. It's okay to be a child or a nerd. We're just saying that's who you are.
That's the demographic. It's cool. I am not going to judge.
And if you say, but wait, I'm not a nerd, that's what a fucking nerd would say.
Checkmate. Okay, so process that for a second. But yeah, it's okay. I don't even care. And then people are like, oh, they have to shoehorn it in, like talking about how the character has been a woman since the comic books or whatever.
Since birth.
Since birth.
She was always one.
These
was that a guttural sigh? Just too much internet.
Too much internet. Too much these Republican snowflakes. I just can't stand these Republican snowflakes.
So I went on 4chan the other day for quite a while.
Yeah, I know. It like poisoned your brain for like an hour afterwards.
I know. I had to like really detox. And
yeah, I couldn't even like hang out with you.
I know. Because I was hearing about Andrew Yang was getting a lot of...
He's getting a lot of attention from the alt-right.
Yeah, a lot of like people on 4chan started going to Andrew Yang. And Andrew Yang was a candidate that originally... I still kind of like him. But originally I was like, oh, fuck yeah. I love Andrew Yang. But
I warned Michael immediately. I was like, he's just like basically a libertarian tech bro masquerading as a Democrat, and UBI is not really as good as it sounds. And
well, it doesn't go far enough. If we have UBI, we need to have UBI and he's just doing UBI. Mm-hmm. We need UBI and price control. We need UBI and certain regulations against business. We need UBI and all these other things. We can't just do... But anyways,
yeah, and then real quick, and then Andrew Yang talks about like everyone's like, well, he's for healthcare for all, but he's not, because on his website he says, well, healthcare for all is one option, or look, there's all these countries that do private healthcare in a way that works. Like he's so like immediately like going to private healthcare that works. Like
yeah, he's clearly kind of a libertarian masquerading as a Democrat.
Yeah.
But anyways, he was gaining a lot of traction amongst the Pepes, amongst 4chan. Mm-hmm. And so I went on 4chan. And I went on 4chan for like a long time yesterday. And you hear about how bad 4chan is, and you hear it's going to be weird. It's kind of like going into a sex shop the first time. It's like, you know it's going to be very graphic. And you know it's going to be really extreme, but you don't really know until you go in there and you see people saying they are using racial slurs that I've never even heard before. Like, that's how fucking crazy it is. There's not one group that is safe there. Like, I heard them being racist against fucking everything I could even imagine.
Yeah, and Michael's asking me to like translate some various terminology.
Right, because I didn't know a lot of the things you were talking about.
And I just like to keep, tabs on what the Nazis are up to. Like a kind of like a weird I'm trying to think of what a good way to describe it.
Sorry, I just remembered this guy. This like left-wing guy on 4chan was like trying to reason with them because they were being really racist against black people. And he was like making really good arguments, like pro-black arguments, but he was like still using the N-word to describe them. It's like, God damn it, even the good ones on this website are fucking terrible people.
Yeah, it's absurd. And like I said, I kind of almost feel like one of those like rightwingwatch.org where you just like keep an eye on all like the far right groups.
It's kind of fun.
I keep like a few tendrils out in there. And
watching the alt-right is actually really fun. We watch Tucker Carlson every night.
We do. We watch him every single night and just see what he's doing. Just keep an eye on him.
Tucker Carlson is holy shit.
He's like the ultimate fail son,
He's the ultimate failed son, but like, oh God, I kind of like respect his hustle.
I think that he is the kind of person that just kind of stumbled his way into his success, and now he
part
just
of me like kind of respects that.
I do not respect it. I think it's just sheer dumb luck and privilege.
I don't know why I think that's kind of funny. Like, he's a terrible person and a terrible pundit, but like part of me thinks it's hilarious that he just like fucked off his whole life and just like was never really good at school, and then he just kind of like bumbled around, and he was like dating the headmaster for some really nice school, and so her dad let him into the school, and he like just got drunk through all of college and just like bumbled his way into like a journalist job.
Yeah, he is like, it was literally sheer dumb luck. And then he managed to kind of figure out like that grift where like whatever kind of was the zeitgeist of the Republican Party, he would just like mold himself to be like exactly that, like exactly what they needed at the time.
Right.
Like just that, like Batman, like just the hero they needed or whatever.
Not the one they deserved, the one they needed.
Yeah, whatever the fucking thing is, and he just does that now.
Tucker Carlson,
every night.
And Tucker Carlson he changes his views and opinions on a week-to-week basis, and on his show he'll always come after Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Always, every single episode, I swear to God, there's a mention of AOC.
Oh yeah, he's obsessed. He's a man obsessed.
But then at the same time, he'll like say things where it's like, what, dude, that's a socialist position. You're a socialist.
Well, he'll say pro like workers' rights stuff, and then he'll also have like people from the DSA like on his show, and they'll be like, well, actually, like we think this and this and this, and then he'll just like do his face where he's like, huh, and he's like, actually, I agree with like 90% of what you said.
It's like, wow, you're a socialist.
He says that like every time.
You're a socialist, but you're also kind of racist.
And then,
that's it. That's just what you are.
A nationalist socialist.
We like have been, because we watch a lot of Tucker Carlson, and I swear every single week he says something that's like pro workers' rights or like pro like government regulation on business.
Yeah.
He even was quoted as saying like, people weren't designed to make markets. Markets were designed to help the people. It's like, what? That's what we believe.
You can't take that one.
You're taking our shit, Tucker.
But then like the same thing happens every time whenever he has a left-wing person on that's like even basically competent. He'll, like an actual left-wing person on, not like the kind of like posturing centrist like liberals that he'll occasionally have on too. But like whenever he has like an actual like left-wing person on who's actually competent, they'll say a bunch of shit, and then he'll say that he like agrees with them, and then he'll be like, but I don't agree with this, and then he'll like invent a straw man that he's mad at.
Or he'll be like angry about like free speech being under attack.
Yeah. And then they're like, well, we don't want like the government to interfere with that. And he'll be like, well, yeah, me neither. And they're like, okay, so cool. And then he's like, time's up. Have a good day.
He thinks he's still, no matter how hard we try and explain to Republicans, free speech means the government can't arrest you. That's it. It means the government can't censor you. We're allowed to say you're a dumbass as much as we want, vis-a-vis that also being free speech.
Yes, exactly.
It's
even
like, how many times do we have to say that before people?
And even in Canada, where that bill passed, that Jordan Peterson was so pissed about.
Oh, the one that supposedly
you go to jail for misgendering somebody.
You'll go to jail for misgendering someone.
And the bill passed like a year and a half ago. And guess how many people are in jail for misgendering people? 0 people. Because that's not what the bill was about. It was about harassing transgender people in the workplace under the same umbrella as harassing people for their skin color or gender in the workplace. It just was added it.
And that's what Jordan Peterson has made his whole career off.
That's what made his whole, yeah, that's how he got famous. Congratulations, everyone. And I feel like everybody would basically agree with that. Like, well, do you think it's bad to like give somebody who's like a different race like a super hard time at work like every day for weeks about like their race, like about them being from India or about them being like a black person? And you said, oh no, that'd be like pretty shitty.
Yeah, no, that's
like, okay, well, do you think that you should be able to do it for them for being trans, like in like a harassing way about them being trans? Like, no, that'd be probably bad. Like, that's all the bill was saying. Congratulations, you agree with the bill. Checkmate.
That bill just
Republican
means
stuff like
that. That bill just means that someone working at Wendy's who's a transgender woman that keeps getting called a man all the time
in a way that was found through a criminal investigation to be intentional harassment could have criminal charges brought to protect them. That's it.
That's it. Most likely in the form of a lawsuit.
Yeah. In the same way that if you were intentionally racist to someone.
Should we talk about the Walmart guy?
Let's talk about the Walmart guy, and then let's get out of here.
Let's get out of here. So we went to Walmart today.
I really try not to go to Walmart.
Walmart is the epitome of corporate America, and it's a pretty sad place.
The whole time I was at Walmart, I was very sad.
When you walk in the door, that's when you're immediately confronted with the despair of corporate America as a man who can hardly stand due to the fact that he's probably 75 years old. Hello, welcome to Walmart. And they don't even give the fucking guy a chair or anything. He's literally standing there greeting you. That's the first moment of sadness. Mm-hmm. And then you go and you walk into a surplus of every product you could ever imagine.
Yeah, well, we needed to get new utensils because we normally go to Winco by our house, which is like a co-op, which actually pays its employees like a livable minimum wage, like supposedly. It's actually an okay wage. But we go there whenever we can, but they don't have like metal utensils. I don't want to get them from Amazon because I think Amazon's even worse probably. And so
Walmart's pretty much our only option.
Yeah. So I had to go to Walmart. And so went to Walmart to get utensils, and every other person, like shopper there, just had like the most dead-eyed look.
Just complete. We were seeing the absolute bottom rung of America.
When you were separated from me for a second, I had 3 separate men wink at me. Separate men. Literally 3.
Jesus.
And
at least it was just a wink.
Yeah. Literally 3. And then one other who's
can't blame a dude for trying, you know?
And then one other who kind of just like gave me like a once over and said, hey, in a weird way. And then several others who were just normal people. But anyway, then we went to check out, and the guy who was at the check stand was probably older than 75. He had to have been almost 80 years old. He looked like a mummy. Like
he looked
like Tutankhamun in the sarcophagus, but like propped up.
He like remembered watching Babe Ruth play baseball. This guy's so fucking old.
He was so old. And
he's still upset about Lincoln being shot. Like this guy is fucking old.
Yeah. He like had a pet dinosaur. Like he was so old. And then he like rang us up. He could barely move his hands to like ring stuff up, and he kept like messing things up because he would like ring them up twice accidentally or like skip over stuff. And then he'd be like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I got that one twice," and he would fix it, and I'd be like, "It's okay, it's okay."
Yeah, we kept trying to tell him like and be very positive because
Yeah.
we felt so guilty,
so bad.
and we were like, every time he would fuck up, we're like, "Oh no, dude, it's totally fine. You're chill."
Yeah, and then
But
I
the
had
worst part was when we had to have him scan our sodas. We had 20 packs of
two
Coke
24
Zero
packs
and
of
Dr.
Coke, yeah,
Pepper.
of soda.
And they were underneath our cart, and we were like, hey, we're such fucking assholes. We don't want to lift these up onto the thing. Can you just come down and scan them?
Well, even if we lifted them up, he would have had to lift them up to find the barcode.
Right.
Scan it anyway. Like, it would have been hard for him to do that. So I was like, okay, he can come around and I can lift them up and hold the barcode up to him.
From
So
the moment he started walking around, it was evident that this was a bad idea to ask him scan it. His limp was so bad. It looked like he had a wooden knee.
yeah,
Like a legit surgical
like before
operation.
they had like metal, like metal they could put it to replace your knees. Like, it was made of
metal
wood.
prosthetics.
Yeah.
He had a wooden knee, and he was just hobbling around, just you could tell every step was agony for
Yeah.
him. And we were like, dude, why do you have to have a job at Walmart? Why is the government not paying you to just be an old person? You should be in bed taking Percocets. You should not be. You should be watching Fox News and taking Percocets. Like, this is not what you should have to do.
Yeah, I like didn't understand. I was like, why is this man not retired? I was like, if this guy is under retirement age, he just had the worst life ever. And he should be on disability anyway. Just by the way he's moving, he couldn't even lift like basic stuff. Like, really, like a thing of Tostino's pizza rolls. He could barely lift it.
Right, like you are a disabled person.
Yeah.
And you were just like, whoop, here's the Tostino's pizza
Yeah,
rolls.
like he could barely lift stuff. I was like, even if you somehow are just a really old looking like 63-year-old, like, you should be on disability. How are you not just at home on disability or on Social Security right now? Like,
Yeah.
what happened in your life? Like, this is absurd to me.
It made me really sad that we
Oh my
live
gosh.
in like a system where our government does not provide for the people like that. We do not need those people working for us at Walmart. I felt incredibly guilty just as a consumer. Like,
It made me think about how after the most recent round of tax cuts, there was a big jump in the sale of super yachts from
super yachts.
from billionaires. Yes, not just like regular yachts, like super yachts that are like millions of dollars and like really
motherfuckers
big.
buying the Titanic. Exactly.
Yeah. So after these people that have a ton of money got huge income tax cuts, they just decided to, instead of like give people better wages so they wouldn't have to fucking work at Walmart until they were fucking 80, they just bought super yachts.
And
So this guy had to
poor
lift
fucking guy-
Tostino's pizza rolls with his bones that were made of glass.
How much does Walmart pay their employees?
Walmart pays like basically nothing. I mean, Walmart pays close to minimum wage. I know it's not literally minimum wage. I think they give like 25-cent raises over, every 6 months or whatever. But Walmart is such a big corporation that basically so many Walmart employees are on food stamps and like need other forms of welfare because their wages are so low that whatever like money you save by buying things at Walmart that are cheap, it doesn't matter because like taxpayers basically pay that money in the employees' welfare.
So you know what this guy definitely has?
What?
A fail son. Absolutely. Why are his children not taking care of him?
Yeah.
Either he doesn't have kids or he's got a 68-year-old fail son that he had.
In 19...
He had a kid. His kid's
30.
68. He's just a fucking douchebag.
1930, he had a kid.
He like smokes weed and watches Bob's Burgers all fucking day. I don't want to work. Fuck you, Dad. Why don't you get a job at Walmart? I was gonna sit here and do nothing.
And so he did. I will think about him probably every day till I die.
It makes me want to.
He'll be dead before I die, so it's fine.
It makes me want to like go picket for like change, but that sounds really hard.
Yeah.
What's the point of protesting?
We didn't get to where we are by picketing for change.
Bro, like
we didn't get to 24 and like making under poverty. We live.
Oh yeah, we live under
comfortably under the poverty line in like a converted garage in the backyard of my mother-in-law.
Where we pay. We probably shouldn't say exactly how much we pay for rent because it's like, or is it fine?
No, it's not very much. Then that's
fine. We pay
fine.
like $340 for rent.
Yeah.
We pay like $250 for rent, and then we pay $130 for the power bill.
We cover the utilities and property taxes.
Yeah. And so we are well below the poverty line.
Yeah. We do that, and we still have no fucking money.
We have no money for shit we want. We bought our groceries today, just like food that we need. And we're like, well, there goes half our money. Literally half of our money.
To make it to our next paycheck, we're going to have to budget so fucking hard.
Yeah, like literally.
Yeah.
That's going to be fun.
It's okay.
Subscribe to our Patreon.
Let's make a Patreon.
We should really make a Patreon.
Yeah.
Too bad all of our fans are losers and fail sons.
And children.
Fail children.
No offense. If you can't subscribe to our Patreon because you're a child, I won't hold it against you. It's okay.
I actually would feel really guilty if like children were.
Yeah. If like there were children who were like trying to talk to their parents into like subscribing to our Patreon, like that'd make me feel fucking weird.
Especially if your parents are like not very well off.
Oh my God.
I would feel
Don't
very
fucking
guilty.
do that.
Don't please.
Don't guilt your parents into subscribing to our Patreon if your parents aren't like.
Actually, you know what? Fuck it. I don't care about other people. Subscribe to our Patreon no matter what your circumstances. No, I feel really bad when I see people on Twitter who like I know make about as much money as me. They're like, yeah, I'm subscribing to your Patreon, $5 a month. I'm like, what are you doing? No.
Yeah, I can't afford to do that shit.
That YouTuber doesn't fucking need your money. They're fine.
You need your money.
Unfortunately.
All right. I need to go to sleep.
Well, that was fun. Thank you very much for listening to the Fail Children podcast. Should we do a little outro?
Yeah.
You got something good to say?
Yeah.